All right, let's go ahead and get started, guys, gals. My apologies for not getting this in last night or yesterday. So this assignment will be due on Friday, which is 3:10. All right, so I apologize again. All right, let's go through this. Looking over this, you have a tangent function, period. There's nothing in front of the x, so that means that the period is just pi. Um, Also means that that means that minus pi x, that phase shift. This doesn't really, we don't really need to do anything with that except literally do what we need to do with it, right? So our period is pi, which means that we have half of it on the left and half of it on the right, if you remember that. So our period is pi, so which means that we have from negative pi over 2 to positive pi over 2, and all we're seeing is that little part on the negative side, right? And then so basically when we graph it, each of them are going to be in the center, and then it's going to look like this. Okay, except this time it's going to be moved to the right, pi over 2. Okay, so pi over 2, if we count, pi over 2 is actually 1 2 blocks or 2 spaces, and then we want to go to the right because this is a minus pi over 2, which means that we're really going to go to the right, pi over 2. Okay, so what that means is we're going to move each of these, or my graph here, I'm going to move this 1 2, so it's going to end up being here, which means that my period also moves 1 2 and 1 2. So now my period is, from 0 to pi. So before, because it was half on the left and half on the right, but once I have done a phase shift, everything moves over to the right, pi over 2. Now it looks like it's a cotangent, okay, but it's still a tangent. So by doing that, I actually understand how I need to do this. So going forward, right, it's going to be between, my period is now going to be between pi and 2 pi, and now I can just wrap it up by doing my center and my graph, just like that. Okay, on this one, you might see a little bit over here. Okay, and on this one, you might see a little bit down here. Okay, that's about all you see. Okay, g of x is equal to cotangent of x minus 2. Keep in mind, this is just a regular cotangent, which means that your period is going to be from 0, and the cotangent is offset to the side, to pi. Okay. Now each of these have a very different way of expressing pi. If you notice, on number 1, pi is 1 2 3 4 blocks, right? On number 2, pi is only 2 blocks. So you got to go with what the graph is telling you. Okay, you can't just stick to the same. Oh, pi is 2 blocks or pi is always 4 blocks. Okay, you got to go with what it tells you. So cotangent is going to be like this, and normally it's right smack in the middle, and so cotangent kind of comes down and does this. Okay, but we're going to go ahead and utilize this. This is going to be a vertical shift of down 2. So that means that each of my points is going to be dropping down 2, and that does not affect my period. It only affects my vertical shifting. Right, so this one I'm going to go ahead and refix this. So it's actually going to be down 2, so like that, and then it's just going to end up being like that. There. Go away. Okay, So now that I know that each of my period is going to be from 0 to pi and the pi to 2 pi, so I think I'm okay with this. I don't need to draw in my periods, or I don't need to draw in my asymptotes because I think I'm pretty good. So it's going to be in the middle. So it's going to be right here. It's going to look like this. And it's going to look like this. So the next one's going to be right here. And next one's going to be here, and then here, and then here. Right? So just going to finish the rest. And you just do the best you can. Right? Just as long as you know that it looks like a downwards going snake. And this part, you'll see this side right here. That's about all you see. And this part, you'll see this side right here. Okay. That's that one. Number 3. So this one has a lot going on. This one has a vertical shift of +2. This one also has a phase shift and a period involved. And I need to rewrite this right here. Okay, that's not the way that we need to write it. So we need to fix that into a more standardized form. So this is going to be, so we're going to take out a 1/2, and we're going to be left with x, right? And what we need to figure out is, what needs to be there, what needs to be next to the x or added to the x in order for us to get a pi, right? So x plus what gives us pi? Okay, so if you think about this is going to end up being 2 pi, because 2 pi times 1/2 gives you pi, right? So because 1/2 times 2 pi, you work that out, that gets you pi, and that's all we need to have originally. Okay, and also we need to figure out the period, which is, in this case, it's a cotangent, so which means the period is pi, normally is pi, divided by the number in front of the x, which is 1/2. And this period comes out to be 2 pi. Okay. Wow. So our period is 2 pi, and we shifted 2 pi, which means it's absolutely gonna do nothing for us at all. It's gonna do nothing. All right. So our period starts at, remember, this is cotangent, so we're offset to the side. So it starts at 0, and it goes all the way to 2 pi. At least that's what the period tells us. All right. And actually, while I'm at it, I'm just going to draw in. Well, I already changed it. So this is going to be cotangent. Cotangent looks like a downward snake. And we are going to be doing. Where's my center? I lost it. So period is 2 pi. Okay. So my center is at pi. And normally it would look like this, right? Normally this is what it looks like. It runs between 0 and 2 pi. But then, so I've taken care of my period, but now I need to take this and I need to apply it to, let me group that up. Okay, I need to apply this to my vertical shift. It's going to be up 2. So 1, 2. And then my phase shift is, I'm going to go to the left 2 pi. And if I'm counting this, 2 pi is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. So what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to go and move this 4 blocks to the left, because this is a plus 2 pi in here. Because it's plus 2 pi, I need to move it 4 times to the left because it's the opposite. So if I move this 4 blocks, which is 2 pi, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's a little laggy. Right? And that right there gives me my final function. But if you look at it, it looks the same because the one that used to be over here, yeah, the one that used to be over there, well, it gets moved 2 blocks as well, or 2 pi as well, which means 4 blocks. Okay, so which is 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it actually ends up looking. So basically, it doesn't even change because the period is 2 pi, and your phase shift or your horizontal shifting is 2 pi. It actually does not change anything at all. Okay, because the one that you moved away gets replaced by the one on the other side. So you know what? I'm just gonna draw it normal. Okay, and you get a little bit of this one, and this next one right here between 4 pi and 2 pi, and it's gonna be up 2. So this is gonna be the middle. Okay, and this one we'll see a little bit like that. Okay, that's number 3. Number 4, we got tangent. Remember, tangent is centered in the middle, and then we got to fix this pi over x over 3 minus 2 pi, right? So we got to fix that. So let's see. So we take out 1/3, we will have x minus, and what do we need, right? What do we need if we take out 1/3? Right, what do we need? So you figure it out. It's probably going to be 6 pi. Because if you think about it, 1/3 times 6 pi, you cancel, you end up with 2 pi, and that's what we originally had. Okay, so it needs to be 6 pi. So my equation is tangent 1/3 parentheses x minus 6 pi, and no horizontal shift or no vertical shifting, only a horizontal shift, which we call it a phase shift. All right, so tangent, let's go ahead and do that. The tangent, normally we have it from 0 to pi, but in this case, it's going to be from, well, actually, we haven't even figured out that was my bad. We haven't even figured out the period. So period for tangent is pi divided by 1/3. Okay, the number in front of the x, and that comes out to be 3 pi. Right, so the period for this guy is 3 pi. So I'm going to go ahead and do my period. It's going to be 0 all the way to 3 pi. Okay, remember, for tangent and cotangent, you don't need to do 5 marks because we're just looking at the period is like the asymptote. Okay, we just need to actually use and figure out the center. So center is going to be from 0 to 3 pi. It's going to be 1.5. Right, and this one we're not moving it up and down, so it's going to be right smack in the middle, but we are going to move it 2 pi to the right. Right, and if we're counting, 2 pi is actually 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. Okay, so if we move this 4 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that means each of my period. Okay, remember, my period is 3 pi, which is actually 6 lines or 6 blocks. It's going to move 4 blocks also. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, wait. Excuse me, guys. That was my bad. The period for tangent is 3 pi, but you get half of it on this side, and you get half of it on this side. So 3 pi, is 1.5 on each side. Okay, and the tangent starts in the center right there. Right. So again, um, here is 3 pi. So from here all the way to here is 3 pi. Okay, which should be the same length as from there to there. That's 3 pi. Okay, and you get half of it on the left, half of it on the right because it's tangent. And you're gonna go ahead and move this 2 pi, or excuse me, you're gonna move this 6 pi. Oh yeah, I'm glad I redid it. You're gonna move a 6 pi to the right. Okay, so 6 pi is gonna be 12 of these blocks. So basically, what I'm doing is I'm moving this. So think about this. I have something that looks like this. Okay, that's what I have. And what I'm doing to that, is I am moving it 6 pi. So from at 0, I'm going to move it all the way to 6 pi, which means I've moved everything to 6 pi as well. I move everything that much over. All right. So, which means that this gets moved 12, or not 12, 6 pi over to the left as well. And 6 pi is 12 blocks. So, you think about this, it gets moved right here. Okay. Which means I still need 3 pi. So, I need, oops, here, get rid of that. I need 3 pi 6 lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's 3 pi right there. And then I still need the center, which is in the middle, which is actually going to be 3 pi. And I need to do this. This goes up. And this is going to go down. Okay. And in reality, I don't see this other part over here. This part is like gone. Okay. And then I will see a little bit of this side, actually. So it's another 3 pi. So I will see a little bit of this side. Well, I will see all of that side and a little bit of this side. That's about it. Okay. So if you think about it, it didn't really do anything because when my period was 3 pi and when I moved it 6 pi over this right here, when I moved it 6 pi over, this right here just sat over here. And then whatever that used to be way over here, if I move it 6 pi over, it ended up here. So it actually didn't do anything. It made it look exactly the same. Okay, when you think about it, 3 pi is divisible, or 6 pi is divisible by 3 pi, and there's two of those, right? Okay, last one. Okay, this one is tangent. So again, tangent is center right in the middle. Doesn't look like I have a phase shift, so it's not going to be too bad. And I don't have anything with the x except for the 2, which is going to change my period. So I'm just going to go and do my period, which is pi. Remember tangent and cotangent. The period is pi. The normal period is pi. And if there's a number in front of the x, that's your double angle. So that changes your period. And then divided by that number, and which happens to be 2. So our period now is going to be pi over 2. So it's going to go from here to here. That's my period, and which in for tangent and cotangent, that's also my asymptote. Okay. Oops, but tangent, remember tangent is center in the middle, so I'm gonna have to go and do half that way, or 1/4 and 1/4, which makes 1/2. Okay. Remember, normally, you know, The period is pi over 2. And if you look, this is pi over 2. Pi over 2 is 2 blocks. Okay. Which I have there. 2 blocks. Okay. That's 2 blocks. But tangent is center in the middle. So that means that I will have to go and take this and center it in the middle. So my period is actually not 2 blocks on one side, but 1 block on one side and 1 block on the other side. Okay. If that makes sense. Okay. And normally I would just draw that in, right, like this. And tangent is just it's going upwards. But then in this case, I'm gonna have to go up 4. Right, so normally tangent is like this, but I'm gonna have to go up 4. So that means that I'm gonna move this 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's where I would be at now. Okay. Which means I just see a little bit on top, and this just extends down a little bit more, just like that. So between here and here, I will have this, and it's only half a pi, so that means that I only go over 2 blocks. Okay, next one. Next one. And next one. Right, so you're just kind of skipping 2 blocks before you do the next one. So from that dot, you're going to skip 2, and then you're going to do the next one. And you'll see that comes out really, really nice. Okay, and some of you guys do an even better job than I do, so just keep up the good work. Then and for you to get full credit, I mean, if I give you all the space and you're only doing half of it, you're not going to get full credit. Okay, so if you're complaining about it, why don't you finish the rest up? Okay, so right here, up, all the way down, and skip 2. So here goes up, all the way down, skip 2, up, all the way down, 2, go up. So that one's kind of ugly. Let's see, I'm going to erase that. Just do a little fix. So you want to curvy, right? So you want to curvy up and all the way down. Skip 2, up, and then skip 2. You're right here. You'll see a little bit, but then you'll see it mostly coming up. Oops. So it'll be like kind of like that. Then you have this coming up. Okay, and that's number 5. All right, folks, we'll call it a day. I'll see you Monday.